Greenfield Village's holiday lights. We're excited to see what they have in store. We get to tour the homes, check out some of the activities, and we'll fill you in on all the details. Greenfield Village's holiday lights is a truly enchanting evening in the village. Everyone is dressed in period attire, wishing you a Merry Christmas. The homes and businesses are decked out for the season. You can ride around in a Model T or take a horse-drawn carriage ride. It is a magical evening. Follow us as we show you a little bit of what there is to explore.
I'm sorry. Come on in.
Thank you.
Okay. And so they take it into the palace, and everybody gets to see it, and it gets in the newspapers, and now everybody in America is like, "That sounds pretty cool. I want a Christmas tree." Okay. So we cut down this pine tree when we got into camp, and we don't have all kinds of cool stuff to put on it, so we just put whatever we had. We threw on some watches and some scarves and some socks. Okay. And then we're gonna light our tree at some point. So how do you think we're gonna light our Christmas tree? Remember, I lived in the 1860s.
Well, I see how it's like. Light it up.
We just light the whole thing. That's what the soldiers want to do to keep warm. But what we're going to do is we're going to take little pieces of candle, little small parts of candle, put them on that, very carefully on the branches, light those candles. Okay. Now we're not going to leave them go forever. I always tell people right there, we're stupid, right? I mean, right? We'll light that for, and because even though I'm not supposed to, because it's not Army protocol, I'll let the boys come in. We'll maybe sing some Christmas carols. We'll do some things like that. Trade whatever we have. You know, we don't have a whole lot. You know, and give that to them. And then we're gonna blow those candles out. Christmas tree comes in only usually Christmas Eve. It's out after Christmas Day. They don't water them. There's nothing right because again, the average building is heated by wood and candles or oil.
Reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer, says there's Alice, used to laugh and call him names like Moose. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, I went to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him.
Folks, we're just walking in. We're showing the year 1835 in New Haven, Connecticut. And before you is a New Year's reception. In the early 19th century, Christmas was still considered a private religious holiday, which is why families would go all out for New Year's. New Year's was typically hosted by young ladies hoping that eligible gentlemen would come calling on them, which is why the food on the table is more suitable to a gentleman's palate, including meats, breads, and desserts. Merry Christmas.
Good evening, folks. How you doing?
Good.
You can stay for the rerun if you'd like, or not. It's up to you. Hey, folks. How you doing? Come on in. How you all doing today?
Good.
Staying warm?
Yes.
Staying dry?
Yes.
Good. This right is a cacao pod. It comes from Central South America, anywhere from 20 degrees north and south of the equator. So what they would do is they would get these and they would cut them open. And they pull out the pulp, they pull out the seeds, anywhere between 30 and 60 seeds. They throw them on a pile, cover them up with banana leaves. They let them sit for 3, 5, 6 days, let them ferment. They take off the leaves, they'd wash them all off, then they dry them for again another 7, 10 days. And then they come up with cacao beans. Okay? These cacao beans, then they ship them to the colonies and chocolatiers like I would buy them, and then we make chocolate from them. First thing I do is I roast them like you would roast coffee beans. Okay? Anywhere from 20, 30 minutes, whatever the case may be. And that's going to release the flavors, also going to release the shells. I can then work the shells, get the shells off, and then you end up with these shells. These are cacao shells. Now, like peanut shells you throw out, you don't throw these out. Because if you have hot water, you put these shells in them, you get chocolate tea. This was known as a poor man's chocolate. Okay? So it was a very popular drink if you could not afford the regular chocolate bars, which many people could because they could afford that. So after I get the shells off on the left, I got these beans, which are lightly roasted, like you roast coffee beans. I put them in this grinder, this mortar and pestle. I grind them up. And what I get is I get little pieces known as cacao nibs. I put these cacao nibs on this lava stone known as matate. Now underneath here I got a heat source. So I'm going to keep this about 90 degrees. So with 90 degrees and grinding back and forth, what happens, it changes the structure. It also changes the situation from a solid to a liquid. So I keep working it until I get the consistency I want. I then scoop it up with my spatula. I put it in a form like this. I usually do this in the winter when it's cold. I just let it set outside or let it set. And what happens, it solidifies into a bar. So this is a chocolate bar that I get. Okay? Now when you were little, maybe you snitched some of your mom's chocolate chips. And they were pretty good. If you ever snitched your mom's baker's chocolate, that's what this was. Baker's chocolate. Very, very bitter. It didn't have any sweetness to it because there's no sugar added to it. So the chocolate pot in there, they consumed their chocolate in 1760 as a drink. So the chocolate pot you saw in the other room, about this tall, has got a little stick in it. You're going to have water, you're going to have sometimes wine, and you're going to bring it to a boil. Then you're going to take your knife and you're going to take your chocolate bar and you're just going to scrape off as much chocolate shavings as you want in that drink. At that time, you could also add other spices. Now this is a sugar cone back then, but they didn't use sugar much in their drinks, whether it was coffee, tea, or even chocolate. What they use is they use things like cinnamon, they'd use vanilla, they'd use cayenne pepper, things like that. They'd put that in their drink with their chocolate shavings, then they'd mix it up good, and they'd froth it, and then they would serve it to their guest. That's how they consumed chocolate in 1760 as a drink. So be bitter like we know our coffee is today before we add all the extra stuff. They would add different spices to kind of bring out the flavor that they really wanted. But that was chocolate in 1760. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Great having you here. You have a great evening. Watch the step on the way out. You have a Merry Christmas.
addition to visiting the homes, seeing the demonstrations, hearing the stories, and even a visit with Santa, you'll find that the village is just beautiful. Everything is so well decorated, each home in its own time with its specific type of tree decorating and home decorating. It's all truly, truly beautiful. In addition to this, they have food options available, and at the end of the night, carolers sing songs and read letters to Santa from years past while fireworks take off over the park. It is a beautiful, beautiful celebration. If you've been to Greenfield Village's holiday lights, tell us what you enjoyed the most. We're not going to spoil the ending for you here. If you want to see that fireworks show, you'll have to be sure to get some tickets of your own next season. We hope you enjoyed this as much as we have. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Happy holidays.